Hey everybody, welcome back to Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. My name is Dylan, and welcome to another episode of my collection journey, where I'm going, where I've been, and what it's looking like. And my number one thing that I have changed since going on YouTube 3 years ago was the choice to go after the eye appeal of a baseball card. Not the number on the slab, not the way I used to buy cards when I was just for 20 plus years, just buying PSA 7 sight unseen. Yes, I had other ones as I journeyed along. As I got older, I had to buy some lower grades for bigger cards. But for the most part, it was PSA 7 or death. I also did the PSA 8 OC, which I still love. I still have a bunch of those. But over the last 2 years, since I committed, I have sold probably, I could look for sure, but I did not. I would say in the 600 vintage graded cards in slabs, in 6s and 7s and 8s. All my high grade stuff that was off centered. Now, what you're looking at in front of me is one that I had that I just never had the heart to sell. I never found another copy. Always on my list to upgrade, but it's a really nice 1973 Topps Hank Aaron card number 100, so you know it's special. And this is a PSA 7. One of those PSA 7s. I actually think I purchased this on the Pit, and I probably paid $45 for it or something. I'm totally guessing. I didn't look. I'm just guessing. But on the Pit, it was sight unseen. So I just saw PSA 7s as a way for me to get a card that looked pack fresh. And I wasn't crazy about centering it. It didn't really affect my eye as long as it wasn't like crazy. When it's crazy, yes, I would not buy crazy off-center ones without even thinking about it. I just wouldn't get nutso ones. But ones like this, I was just buying these because it was a 7 because I had a card since I was a kid, a Bob Gibson 1963 Fleer card that I sent in to get graded in the 90s. And it came back a 7. I go, dude, that thing, I thought I looked like a 10. So I said, well, I'm going to buy 7s. And I was able to do that from home on a computer without ever going. I went to card shows and stuff, and card shops, but for the most part, I never talked to any of the dealers. The vintage dealers barely even looked at me. I'd walk by. When I go to shows, I was buying boxes and opening them up. And online, I was buying these. And I was, that was my favorite part. I loved collecting vintage cards. Always have. But along this journey, I decided to sell all my high grade, so to speak, if you consider 7's high grade. I do. When I look at my cards now, 7's absolutely high grade in any year from 1980 and up. Get a drink of water. And I'd shifted to centered baseball cards. And right now, you're looking at a 1973 Topps Hank Aaron card number 100. Exact same card we were just looking at, but this is in a PSA 6. Now, I'm going to show you guys the difference. I posted a picture of this, and everybody had their comments. I wasn't going to comment back. I just wanted to do a video. There's flaws on both. Neither of them are perfect. But in my eye, that I see, the PSA 6 is superior to the PSA 7 in a lot of ways. Not only the color, but the look, the overall look of the card itself. It's more of a stunning image. This one's a little more like, it's not faded. This thing is just the way they are printed. Some were printed a little darker. It could have been faded, but this looks like a print job. Because you can see, when you look at this logo, see how it's got, so I'm going to point out some flaws. You got this little black mark right here. This black mark right here. None of that stuff bothered me. And it still doesn't bother me. Literally, that stuff still doesn't bother me. As long as it's not like pointing you in the face when you're looking at it. But this one, the ink isn't all full in here. This is a little lighter, but this circle doesn't even compare to the next card we're going to look at. Now, this is the 7. I'm just going to let you guys be the judge. If you want to leave comments, that's fine. This is more of a thought experiment. But the price on the PSA 7 is around $140. And the price on this PSA 6 I just bought, I'll show the flaws on that. PSA 6 I just bought was $71, I think it was. I won it at an auction. It's the first centered copy that I've come across since I started looking for these cards. Now, I didn't have a save search on this 73, Hank. It was just as I searched eBay, as I do, ending soonest, look for the next like 6 hours. I'll go to the earliest ones listings and highlight the ones that I like. You know how the drill. Same thing you guys all do. But when I look at this 6, it's just a better copy. Now, let me point out the flaws. Now, there's really only one flaw that I can see in this photo. You guys probably have seen it because if you're looking at cards like I do, you're looking for everything. You got a little fisheye right there on that border. I get it. This isn't a PSA, well, PSA 10s have fisheyes too, so this isn't a perfect card. I don't need a perfect card. I want one that looks freaking stunning when I have it on my wall, and they all look so good next to each other, dead centered. I am beating the dead horse. I know this, but this is my channel, and this is what I like to talk about, and it's the way to collect if you want to save a whole bunch of money. And even though I probably paid the highest price ever for a 6, I have no idea. I didn't look up comps prior. I think I put a bid in at $93 and some odd cents. That's what I thought the card was worth at the time. I had no idea the 7 was worth $140, 100 to 100. I've seen them go for 200 even, just depending on the eye appeal. So I put that on eBay. And when I grabbed this, I didn't know what that was worth. I just put a bid in of the card, what I thought the card was worth. As you collect, as all the experience I've had over these, my lifetime of collecting vintage cards, you learn the prices of regular Topps cards. Once you get into PSA 8s and 9s, I have no idea what they go for because it's ridiculousness. You go from a 6 at $70 to a 7 at $140. An 8's probably $500-$600 as I'm just guessing, and a 9 astronomical, like $2,000. And it doesn't look any better than this 6 when they're side by side 6 inches away from your eyeballs. And who looks at a card 6 inches away? Nobody. Now, I do love looking at my cards in hand, up close and personal. I love that. But when I'm really enjoying my cards, when I'm sitting, most of the time I'm looking at my wall. And even in hand, like in the flesh, this card's just more beautiful. So let's look at the difference on the back. This one's a little softer. Now, I don't argue that this should be a 7 or an 8 or a 9. No, this is whatever PSA gave it. I could care less. The whole point is I don't care. I mean, in all reality, man, my favorite cards in the world are to pick up the lowest grade possible with the highest eye appeal. You're paying the least amount. You could probably get this 1973 Topps card, Hank Aaron, in a PSA 4 for like $25. So if you're even more patient than me and you want to just look for a perfect 4 for $25, you're getting it for more than half the price I just paid for the 6. And it will look just as good. That's what I love about this collecting journey. So I've got a few more pickups here. I thought I would just share that because this is on eBay right now. And also shout out to my eBay channel, 31414 Sports Cards. Are you allowed to shout out your own channel? I have a whole bunch of cards listed at auction. They end this coming Sunday. And I start them at 99 cents. And I'm going to have another auction start, I think, next Sunday and end the following Sunday. So I'll have everything shipped out before the National, and I'll have a big chunk of change. I didn't want to sell them too soon because I didn't want to spend all the money that's in my eBay account because that's how I do my collection. I use the money in my eBay account to purchase the cards that you see from all the cards that I bought in the past. Now, yes, I buy cards now and will sell them if I'm not afraid to sell my cards. And there's certain cards I'll never sell, regardless of centering, the meaning of the card, but all kinds of different things. But on eye appeal alone, I'm digging through my collection and unloading more and more as I come across them. So I found this beautiful 1962 Topps Gaylord Perry rookie card, star rookie. I have been hunting for this one forever. I have never owned this card. And it's just a sight to behold. And as you're looking at this beautiful card, you'll see this little line right here. You can call it the shooting star, as my buddies in the text thread call it. That's on every copy I found on eBay. All the ones that ended. So I don't know if there's copies out there that do not have that. I don't know. Maybe in a 9. But this cost $95 at auction. It is beautiful. And this is a PSA 5. For those of you listening, just an absolute stunner of a baseball card. I mean, that's what I love about grading. Let them do their best on judging this card to the assigned number it's supposed to have. I never argue my card should be higher grade because there's a reason this is a 5. And you may have seen it already, but when you look at the corners and disregard that line, because that's on all of them, and I don't know if they mark down on cards that have all of them, or maybe that's why there's not a 10. I didn't look at the pop report or anything. I'm just guessing. But these corners are 8 corners, 9. These are 9 corners. But you see that little, because I look through my cards closely. Once I get them right there, that little puka. And now you see it. It's so crazy. You never see it, and then you see it, and there it is. And to me, if you're a grader, that's why this got a 5. Look at the back. I love the backs of baseball cards. I don't show them all the time on here, but trust me, when I have my cards in hand, I'm reading the back, I'm checking things out. Is that not an awesome cartoon on the back right there? Gaylord had the 3rd best ERA, 2.55. Getting those balls nice and wet. No doubt about it. When I go to the National this year, I hope to find cards that look like this from the 60s and from the 50s. I really, really am going to be trying to hunt those down at the National this year. I want all my rookies. I want more rookies. I have a lot of Topps rookie cards that I don't have. So that's going to be my main focus in my vintage collection of cards that I've never had. And I'm going to shy away from the base cards for a while, unless one just crazy one comes up. But I'm really going to try and get the rookie collection. And with that said, I got 2 more cards, vintage cards here to share with you guys that you've never seen and I've had on my wall for quite some time. But both I picked up in the last year. And both combined, I think cost me $80. And that's none other, the first one I'll show is the 1970 Topps Yankees Rookies Thurman Munson rookie card in a glorious PSA 4. I mean, dead centered, a beautiful card. Yes, there's a little wear there, a little wear up there. But this is what my vintage cards to me. This is what I want right here. A gray border. I'm finding the gray borders you can get away with more. Also, the 68 Topps, you can get away with a lot of stuff on those and they still look stunning. And like I said, I think I paid, and that's a scratch that's on the case. I think I paid $40. I mean, look how old this slab is. Yeah, I bought an old slabbed PSA graded card on eBay. I didn't care as an old slab. I looked at the baseball card. When I bid on this, I probably bid like 60 something bucks for a 1970 Topps Thurman Munson. So let me put that right there. You guys know what's coming up next. I've just been in really deep thought lately about the National and what I want to go for. I'm not going to limit myself as a budget goes. If I have the card at home and it's a replacement, I can buy it using my credit card and it's like a zero. It's a wash. That's my new strategy this year. I can rebuy any card in my collection that I already have that I want to upgrade. I have a lot of Ted Williams cards I'd love to get better centered. There's just certain cards, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, that I'm not willing to sell yet. So when I go to the National, I'm really going to be digging up these cards. So it just gives me an option at the National, and it makes me so I don't have a budget going into it where it's like a fair swap out. I'll sell the other copy and put the other one on the credit card, and it doesn't matter because it's like a wash. That's the difference I'm going in this year. I'm excited. So let's show the next card I got. This card is so hard to find centered, and I actually bought one of these 1971 Topps Thurman Munson All-Star Rookie Hat Cup cards I bought one from Sammy Thunder. I've had numerous copies of this in my life, like probably 5 or 6 of them. But over the last couple of years, I've sold all of them to look for a dead centered copy that looks just beautiful. This isn't a 4. Yeah, it's got some soft corners, but the centering on this bad boy, that's how the centering is supposed to be on the 9s and 8s, the good ones, the ones that are actually centered. The thickest should be thicker down here. It should be the same there and the same here. Now, does this card look incredible if this is the same and this is the same and this is the same? Yes, absolutely. Might even look better. But this is proper centering when this is centered and this is centered. And this is a sick, beautiful card. So I bought one from Sammy Thunder that I just saw, he sent me photos, but I jumped the gun and it wasn't the copy for me. I sold that. I bought it from him, sold that one at like a $5 loss. All said and done. And found this finally. Last year I was even looking for this at the National. Didn't find a single one that was centered. And I got one. I've had this on my wall. I probably bought this a year ago or something, or 6 months. Oh, it's just beautiful. I love that image. One of the best cards in the hobby, no doubt. I mean, look at that little setup of beautifully centered. Well, let's take out this 7. Let's put these. Only the dead centered ones are making my collection, guys. Yeah, it's crazy. I know it. But I think it's the eye appeal you can't argue with. It's the cards that you look at and no one can say those are ugly baseball cards. No one can say, you can nitpick them, but you can't look at that thing straight off and be like, wow, that thing's hideous. No, or that thing's way off centered or this or that. The image, the centering, everything is beautiful. So that's part of my collecting journey right there. My favorite part about collecting is finding these diamonds in the rough for a quarter of the price of the one I sold off or the one that I could have bought. Like, it's so freaking fun. And yes, I pay over comps lots of times because I don't even look at comps. I don't know. When I get done, it is what it is. I literally, only reason I looked up comps on this 73 Topps Hank Aaron is because I had one in a 7 and I was going to sell it. So I looked up after I bought that card. I looked up because I was listing this and it's on my eBay store right now. And this one's not at auction. I'm holding out for $140. But if you are interested in it, just shoot me an email and you can find that on my YouTube channel. But tell me you're emailing me because otherwise I won't see it. And we can do it off eBay. And I can go like 128. Let's do that. So, okay, with all that said, dude, I'm not trying to sell baseball cards on here. I was just letting you guys know because I know some of you guys, want to buy cards from me, and I love selling cards to you guys. It's enjoyable for me knowing these cards that I've had are going to a fellow collector and a friend. So I'm not trying to get you guys to buy my cards. I'm just letting you guys know and aware of it. So, because I like buying your guys' cards too. So it's fun to see what people are selling, and I watch those videos. They're epic. They're just hard to find a dead centered one. So there we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Be inspired. Don't be influenced by guys like me. Just run things around in your own brain and figure out how you want your collection. Shaka!